Hello everyone, here's my review for Backrooms. Backrooms follows Clark, a lonely furniture store owner, and his therapist who, after discovering that he clipped out of reality, goes off to save him. Backrooms was a nice surprise. I'm sure it's going to be a crowd-pleasing hit. I'm not familiar with any of the other media that has spawned out of the Backrooms idea, but I think anybody in my generation that's spent enough time on the internet probably knows the concept. You go far enough into a liminal space and you clip out of reality into an even more liminal space. And that concept is translated pretty well to film. I appreciate that the film never explicitly outlines that idea, and the film implies that if nobody spends a meaningful amount of time with a place, thing, or even a person, they can become susceptible to clipping into the backrooms. And with that as the backdrop, the film inherently becomes about loneliness, which is a surprisingly refreshing concept for a horror film. Backrooms is a bit light on character, but that idea of loneliness is the core of both Clark and his therapist Mary. There's also a bit of a perspective shift towards the middle of the film, but it's a lot less jarring than it probably would have been if we didn't spend some time with Mary and her backstory before it. What Backrooms absolutely nails is its atmosphere. This film is masterfully eerie and uncanny, which I feel is a really underappreciated and underutilized aspect of horror. When a film can establish a creepy but not inherently scary atmosphere, I think it adds a lot to the tension, which is the case with Backrooms, and I think a lot of the filmmaking decisions were informed by that core idea of that eeriness. Parts of the film were shot found footage style, which was a great decision. They're arguably the best sequences of the film. Director Kane Parsons also composed the music along with Ido Van Bremen, and their music adds to that tense atmosphere. It's pretty subdued, which gels well with the concepts of the movie, and they use lots of sounds rather creatively. I'm glad Kane Parsons is getting his start in filmmaking here, because he clearly has an eye for shots that will send chills up your spine without having jump scares or being outwardly scary. Quite a few of this film's best scares are built on the idea of blink and you'll miss it details, or things being in the backgrounds of shots, deep in the background, almost to the point where you would have to squint to see it. And I love that style of horror. I think it's really valuable to be able to create a scare that doesn't have to be so in your face. Kane Parsons really lets the devil be in the details here. My one gripe with the film visually is that a lot of it is shot center frame, which is unfortunate to see from a studio like A24. I know I'm gonna butcher the main actor's name of this film. I believe it's Chiwetel Ejiofor. Please correct me in the comments. I would love to actually know how you say this guy's name. In some ways, he's kind of a meta choice for leading this film, because I feel like he's the actor that shows up in the most random places, and you kind of know him, but you can't quite place him. But he is rather solid in the lead role. I am also probably going to butcher the lead actress's name. I believe it's Renate Reinsve. Again, please correct me in the comments, but I would also like to praise her because she's good as well. Both of them get scenes where they're able to show a lot of emotion without being outwardly emotional. And while I think Mark Duplass is criminally underutilized here, I mean, the guy is a great actor. If you haven't seen Creep, watch it. But his character and role feels a bit underdeveloped. I do wish there was slightly more time spent on him and the company. It's not like I need an exposition dump at the end of the film, but I just wish we got a little more taste of what was going on there. Overall, if you're expecting big jump scares, Backrooms isn't going to be for you. But if you can really get into an eerie, uncanny vibe, then you're going to enjoy this one. So with that, I'm going to give Backrooms an 8.3 out of 10. I quite enjoyed this. I enjoyed the themes that permeate through it. But I'm curious what you think of Backrooms. If you saw it, let me know in the comments. I also want to hear from people that have experienced the other media related to this IP. I think there's a video game and a series of short films, maybe? I've never touched any of it, so if you like that stuff and have seen this film, let me know what you thought of the film in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you all in the next one.